On June the 5th, 1993, Argentina realized that the life of their president, Carlos Menem, was in serious danger. At the height of his popularity, Menem may have been seconds from a potentially fatal blood clot to the brain. As the nation held its breath, cardiovascular surgeon Dr. Juan Parodi prepared to take the life of the president and the future of his country into his own hands. He would have to cut open and clear a blocked artery in the president's neck, which was reducing the blood flow to his brain to a dangerously low level. The operation was a risky one. Clearing the artery could dislodge blood clots and send them into the president's brain.
It was a critical moment. There was a risk of him having a brain stroke, which has a mortality of greater than 25%.
As the president went under the knife, the world's media gathered outside. Gustavo Belize was Menem's Minister for Home Affairs.
All the media and the entire political community were gathered at the front door of the institute because there was a feeling of real fear, not only for his health, but also for the health of the economy.
The operation was a success. The obstructed artery was cleared without complications, and the nation breathed a sigh of relief.
I am now absolutely fine, and next week I will resume my normal duties. This is thanks to an exceptional team of doctors who carried out the surgical procedure in just a couple of hours.
It was a defining moment in Argentina's history and in Dr. Parodi's career. Today, Dr. Parodi has catapulted back into the limelight, not just in Argentina, but around the world, with his breakthrough surgical technique called brain protection. Parodi actually reverses the direction of blood flow in the brain during surgery, so that life-threatening clots are driven away from the brain instead of into it.
The problem is that when you use instruments in the artery with clots, you run the risk that these clots will break free and travel to the brain. So we used to be hesitant in using this technique until we developed the brain protection system which stops this happening. We can do it very safely, and it is a minor procedure with local anesthetic, just a small incision, and the patient recovers very quickly.
This patient, Maria San Matano, has come to the hospital with a dangerously obstructed carotid artery in her neck. Dr. Parodi approaches the obstructed artery through a tube inserted in the groin.
In classical surgery, you get to the organ, in this case the artery, from the outside. What we do much more frequently nowadays is to work inside without making any incision on the skin. Instead, we navigate through the vein or artery, navigate like a boat, to the place where you need to work and treat this artery.
She's awake throughout the operation, so her brain's neurological mechanisms can be monitored for any unusual changes. It's a standard procedure, but what he does next is unique. The main or common carotid artery divides into two. In this case, the artery on the left, leading to the brain, is blocked. Dr. Parodi inserts a catheter into both arteries and inflates a tiny balloon at the end of each tube, blocking the passage of blood flowing up to the brain. A vacuum is created by the lack of blood above the balloons. It draws the blood from the other brain arteries downwards, reversing the flow. The blood is now flowing away from the brain as the damaged artery is unblocked. As it does so, blood clots flow out of the body into a filter. Any one of them could have killed the patient.
This patient had a clot in the lesion in her carotid. In doing all this work, the clot breaks free. Without the system of protection, the clot would have gone to the brain.
Maria will go home the next day. Alberto Arias had the operation 4 months ago. He had a 90% obstruction and might not be alive today were it not for Dr. Parodi's brain protection technique.
The fact that these people exist can give your health back to you. It's amazing to have someone with a technique that gives all this back.
It's not just former patients who are thankful. Dr. Parodi's new method is now being hailed around the world. Raghu Nandan has travelled to Argentina to learn the technique from the man himself.
Even in my country, that's in India, Dr. Parodi is a big name among the faculty of vascular surgery. Endovascular surgery is still, I would say, it's in the infancy in my country. So I think learning these techniques and adapting to my situation would be good.
No doubts.
No doubts.
Yeah, no doubts, absolutely.
En el proceso de crear,
In the process of creating, there is an element of forgetting oneself, of going beyond what is already established.
con lo que uno piensa que está establecido. Si uno simplemente se limita
It's not just a question of limiting oneself to accepting all that others have said, because then medicine would never change. Many times the established is not the reality, not the best, and can be improved upon and changed.
Judging from past experience, it won't be the last time the world hears about the work of this pioneering surgeon.